Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you this quick and easy box that will hold my card sketches that I've been sharing with you. This box is a simple Dollar Tree item that will decorate. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. Okay, I've measured the crate, both the sides and the end. Don't assume that all three slats are the same. For mine, I have two slats that are the same size and the middle one's slightly different. I've cut my designer series paper, and if it has a pattern and it matters to you, make sure you're cutting them in order so that the pattern lines up the way you want it to. I'm now ready to assemble. Now I left my crate natural, but if you wanted to, you could paint this a color that coordinates with your designer series paper to finish it off. I'm starting with the black bottom strip, and I'm going to take my tear and tape. Now, tear and tape is a nice strong adhesive that is great for 3D projects like this. I'm going to cut the end and then do another strip on the other side. Sorry, I'm going to have to use my paper snips. I just have not got my PT far enough that I can tear that easily with my left arm. There we go. I'm going to burnish and then pull the little flaps off that protective adhesive. Once I have that done, I'm going to bring my crate in. I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to do it so it's about even. There's a little extra cut here so that my paper will wrap around the sides like so. And then I can burnish that to make sure it's adhered nicely. And I'm going to move on to the next strip here for the center. This time I'm going to use my multi-purpose adhesive and show you what that looks like. Now, if you're worried about the dry time on the ends, you could add a little bit of tear and tape to the ends and just use the multi-purpose in the center. The choice is yours. This does give you a little more wiggle room because this is liquid, and I'm lining it up with the top edge here, trying not to get my fingers in that adhesive. Once I've got it where I want it, I'm going to press down and wrap around the two sides like so. Now this you'll want to hold a little bit until it adheres down well. We will be covering those two sides, so that's not a big issue. Going to repeat that with the top piece. And this time I'm going to share with you how you can add a little bit of the tear and tape on the end to hold it nicely, and liquid on the center. There we go. I've got my ends on the two sides. They don't have to be even because we're going to be covering that. I'm ready to move on to the other side, and I'm going to put those strips on the end again. This happens to be my bottom piece because I've laid them down in order. Last time I didn't peel off the protective adhesive strip, so this time I'm going to make sure I do that first. It'll make it much easier when adding my adhesive. And you can even place that adhesive onto the wood if you would like. Once again, the painted surface of this would make it smooth, and the color, if it's not completely cut correctly, would help hide the raw wood, but I'm okay with that since this is simply going to hold my sketches. Adhering and repeat. Now, when putting your multi-purpose adhesive onto your crate, make sure that you're not going right up to the edge. This glue does have an ooze factor, and so it will squish out a little bit as you apply the pressure. I'm going to lay that on, line up that top edge, and wrap around. There we go. I've got the two sides done now, and I'm ready to move on to the ends. Now this piece of designer series paper has been cut so that it'll cover that end and leave those little slits showing. So for this, I'm going to add, let's see, I think I'm going to add the tear and tape to the top and bottom, and then the two sides. I'm going to burnish that well so I can get those edges lifted. And I'm going to add just a little bit of adhesive to the center here just to hold everything down. I'm then going to take my designer series paper, decide which side I want up, line it up against the edge and make sure I've got it even, and then I'm going to bear down like so. There we go. I've got the one end of the crate done. I can flip it over and add the second. Once again, deciding which side I want up. And I think I'll go that way. And this time I'm going to add the multi-purpose adhesive around the outside edge and in the center, just to show you the different methods. This allows me a little wiggle room so I can adhere this down and then line it up as desired. There we go. I've got my card crate done for my sketches, and I'm ready to add my label. Okay, I've created a label for this and cut it out with my nested essentials dies. Any of these shapes will work on the crate front, and I've given you enough room on the PDF so that you can cut it out with the die of your choice. I've got several different fonts for you that you can choose from depending on what you like best. So I've cut out a coordinating label using the Petunia Pop because I like that against the designer series paper, but you may choose another color depending on what you are using designer series paper wise and your favorite. I'm going to adhere my label down on top of this like so, and then I'm going to lay it on top of my box, and I want to make sure I've got enough space for my dimensionals because I do want to pop this up. Now you might find if there's not enough room here between the slat and the point, you might want to use a mini dimensional there so that you know you've got it and it'll grab it okay. I think that the ends are perfectly fine with the regular size dimensionals, and so I'm going to add those down the center. I'm adding more than I normally would because I want this nice and firm. So I'm going to remove the backings, flip it over, and adhere. I burnished those now, so I've got this lovely little card sketch box to hold my sketches. So there you go, my card sketch box is decorated with this beautiful designer series paper and ready to hold my card sketches. These card sketches can be put on a ring or just set in the box so that you can flip through them when you're ready to create. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and of course if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.